So, hi there, everybody. I'm Mary Ellen,
And I am Evie Schweig.
and we are both certified holistic health coaches with a common passion for educating, guiding, and inspiring people to live their best lives through healthy lifestyle choices. And we started this Take 20 program as a way to share current health topics in a short 20 minutes that will help you improve your health.
Right. And we hope to inspire you to take steps to live your very best life.
Okay. So in this and future topics, we'll discuss ways for you to improve your health through eating a healthier diet and upping your physical activity, getting better sleep, maintaining healthy relationships, career, and even stress management.
Right. Today, we'd like to address some of these topics in our program, Keys to a Healthier and Happier Life, which is what, as health coaches, we strive to achieve with our clients.
So Evie and I were both inspired by author Dan Buettner and his groundbreaking and illuminating cover story for National Geographic way back in 2005.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like that long ago, but it really is. So in his story, Buettner identified 5 different regions around the world that he designated as the blue zones. And these were communities that are remarkable in that their residents live much longer than average.
Yeah, so Buettner later expanded this research into his New York Times bestseller, Blue Zones, Lessons for Living Longer from the People That Live the Longest.
And through his research, Buettner set out to understand why this might be. He traveled to each one of these communities to discover why these populations live not only longer, but healthier and happier lives. They suffer only a fraction of the diseases that would commonly kill people in other parts of the world and enjoy more years of good health.
Right. And what he found was that while the lifestyles of these communities were not exactly the same, nor were they even located near one another, they did share some common characteristics.
So we thought it would be fun to talk to everyone today about what these characteristics are and how we might benefit from Buettner's findings.
Yeah. So again, 5 locations.
Right.
The first is Ikaria, Greece. 1 out of 3 residents in this region live into their 90s. That's about
Wow.
8 years longer than Americans. And they also have half the rate of heart disease and almost no dementia.
All right, that's amazing. The second region is Loma Linda, California. Yeah, right here in the United States. Loma Linda is located just east of Los Angeles. And this religious community of Adventists teaches us new lessons about the power of faith and friendship.
Yeah. And then the third is Sardinia, Italy. And this Mediterranean island is home to the greatest concentration of male centenarians in the world. And their healthy lifestyles have not changed much in the last 2,000 years.
Wow, that's a long time. And then the next one, number 4, is Okinawa, Japan. So these islands in the South Pacific are just south of Japan and have historically been known for longevity. They were once called the land of the immortals. Okinawans have less cancer, heart disease, and dementia than Americans. And here the women live longer than any other women on the planet.
Yeah. And the 5th is Nicoya, Costa Rica. And this community is located on a peninsula in the western Pacific coast of Central America. Its residents are twice as likely as Americans to reach a healthy age of 90.
So in the research done by Buettner and his colleagues, they found that these communities had 9 common characteristics that they each shared and that contributed to longer, healthier, and happier lives. So here are the commonalities that Buettner identified.
So let's take a look at each one and what was found and how you can incorporate these ideas into our busy American life.
Right. All right. Shall I start?
Evie, go for it.
Okay. So the first is move naturally. So the world's longest lived people, they don't pump iron, they don't run marathons or join gyms. Instead, they live in environments that constantly nudge them into moving without thinking about it.
Mm-hmm.
They tend their own gardens, and they don't have mechanical conveniences for house and garden work the way we do. By contrast, in America, we're more sedentary. We tend to rely on our cars to get around, right? And spend an inordinate amount of time sitting in front of the computer screen.
Oh boy.
Guilty. Or television even. So, but we hired people to do much of the manual labor that's done in these blue zones. But if we rethink it, there's probably some things that we could probably start doing to move more naturally. Just to move more for stronger muscles, flexibility, weight management, and overall health. So, for instance, if you work in an office, you might try to request a standing desk and, alternate between standing and sitting during the day. You could set an alarm and get up from your desk every 30 minutes just for a walk or a stretch, get around. Or you could actually initiate standing and walking meetings. This is a popular trend that's happening and a very healthy one. So, and
I'm at my standing desk right now.
Yeah, and it really works,
Check.
Right?
Yeah.
So, what if you don't work in the office, right? Some things you might do at home, maybe take a bicycle or even walk to the post office or the library or the grocery store, the farmer's market, any chore or errand that you need to run. Or even just cleaning your house will burn about 200 calories per hour on average.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's cool.
So just little things.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so that was the first of 9. Okay, so the second is purpose. This is really critical. So the Okinawans call it ikaje. And then the Koyans also believe in purpose is very important, and they call it the plan de vida. So for both, it translates to why I wake up in the morning. So knowing your sense of purpose is worth up to 7 years of extra life expectancy.
Wow.
And it's important to have purpose throughout your life, of course. And with each life cycle, this may change. When you're a teen, your purpose is to study and do well in school. And then when you start a family, it's to support the family and develop loving relationships. And then when you retire, your purpose might be to volunteer and give back to the community. So whatever it is, just know why you want to wake up in the morning. Know what drives you. If you're unsure and need clarity, you can always, talk to a health coach. Let us help you identify what's important to you at this time in your life and for the future.
So true. So the next commonality that they found is called downshifting. So basically, as you know, we're a culture of stress. We're rewarded for our productivity, even if it means the cost of our health. So multitasking has become the norm. Although it's interesting, recent research has shown that if you multitask, you're actually less productive. Mm-hmm. But we feel pressured to get things done quickly. And modern technology only increases this pressure. Stress leads to chronic inflammation and is associated with every major age-related disease. So even the people in the blue zones do experience stress. I think it's a fact of life. Absolutely. But what the world's longest lived people have that we don't are routines that help them reduce this stress. Okinawans, for example, will take a few moments each day to remember their ancestors. Adventists pray. And Icarians, they take a nap. And Sardinians do happy hour. Sounds like a fun one. But you may already, for those listening, already have some routines that help keep stress levels low, such as an exercise routine. But rather than doing heavy cardio activity, you might want to think about adding in yoga or meditation to balance that. Reading a book is a good thing to do. or get more rest. Most of us are definitely sleep deprived.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. Great. So the next commonality of these 5 regions is called, Dan Buettner called it the 80% rule.
Mm-hmm.
So the Okinawans call it Hara Hachi Bu. So it's a 2,500-year-old Confucian mantra. And it's said before meals, which reminds them to stop eating when their stomachs are 80% full.
Interesting.
So the 20% gap between not being hungry and feeling full could be the difference between losing weight or gaining it. And people in the blue zones eat their smallest meal in the late afternoon or early evening, and then they don't eat anymore for the rest of the day. So, we've all heard the old adage, like, eat like a king in the morning, a prince at midday, and a pauper in the evening. It makes a lot of sense, because if food is fuel, we want to fuel ourselves in the morning for the long day ahead, and then just like tap the gas tank a bit throughout the day. So we need very little as we wind down the day, since we require less energy before rest. So try to be more mindful of when you're hungry and when you're satisfied. So that's the 80% rule.
I like that message. It's not always easy to do, is it?
No, we have to be very mindful, for sure.
Yeah. So the next characteristic that these groups share is called a plant slant. So beans such as fava, black beans, soybeans, and lentils are the cornerstone of most centenarian diets. So meat, mostly pork, is eaten on average only about 5 times per month. So that's, maybe about once a week.
Yeah.
The serving sizes are small. They're about 3 to 4 ounces. We know that as health coaches, right, Mary Ellen? We say about the size of a deck of cards, which is a lot smaller than what, as Americans, we're used to eating. But as I said, Americans tend to eat more meat than that size, and relatively small vegetables as well. So one way to change this would be for us maybe to try meatless Mondays, for instance, which is a great way to slowly begin reducing the amount of meat in our diet and adding in more vegetables over time. So bulking up meals with these delicious and nutritious vegetables offers a variety of flavors and colors, because we eat with our eyes as well, right?
Yeah.
And it makes it easier for everyone to make a healthy shift. So you're helping your family as well that you're eating with.
Yeah.
It's also a lot less expensive, because meat is expensive, and better for our environment.
Absolutely, yeah. So the plants first and the meat sort of as a condiment.
Yeah.
Okay, good. So the next one is wine at 5. Dan Buettner called it wine at 5. So what he discovered is that people in all the blue zones, except the Adventists, because of religious, beliefs, drink alcohol moderately and regularly. So moderate drinkers outlive non-drinkers. The trick is to drink 1 to 2 glasses per day with friends and or with food. And this is a really important point, that the wine is consumed with friends, sharing stories and laughing, which are also important aspects of the Blue Zones lifestyle. So, you can't just save up all week and have 14 drinks on Saturday or something like that.
Yeah, something good to remember, right?
For our American Heart Association recommends no more than 1 drink per day for women and 2 for men. So we take that to heart. Yeah.
I like that. All right. So that brings us to our next characteristic, which is belonging. So all but 5 of the 263 centenarians interviewed belong to some faith-based community. So denomination didn't seem to matter. The research shows that attending faith-based services 4 times per month will add 4 to 14 years of life expectancy. So the bottom line here is that these people belong to a community with purpose, and they help each other out. They are there for each other in the good times and in the bad. So even though those of us or those of you listening may not belong to a religious institution, being part of something greater than yourself, even being engaged with your immediate family, is important for longevity. So it's more than just having a spiritual life on your own. Being part of something bigger is what makes the difference.
Yeah, that's a really good point. Great, thanks. So the next is loved ones first. So it sort of relates to that whole idea of community, but successful centenarians in the Blue Zones put their families first. And this means keeping aging parents and grandparents nearby or in the home. And they commit to a life partner as well, which can add up to 3 years of life expectancy. And they also invest in their children with time and love. So the children will be more likely to care for you when the time comes around, right? So just interesting just to notice that intergenerational cohabitation is increasing in the U.S.
Which will help,
well, right?
Yeah.
For a few reasons, including, children, you hear about this in the news, children staying in the home longer while working or going to school. And it's, also financially easier on everyone. So it's a good thing, actually, to have that intergenerational commitment and, closeness, keeping loved ones first.
Right. Sounds good.
Last one?
So the last one, how did we get to the last one already? The last one is the right tribe. So what do they mean by that? Well, the Okinawan people choose or are born into social circles that support healthy behaviors. They create moais, which are groups of 5 friends that commit to each other for life. It's interesting, very different than us. So research has shown that happiness is contagious, but so are traits like smoking, obesity, and even loneliness. So the social networks of long-lived people have favorably shaped their healthy behaviors. So good news for us in the United States, new communities for those 55 and up are on the rise. And for those who want to have an active retirement and meet other like-minded people and live in a close community, these can be very beneficial.
Yeah, so interesting things to think about. So just to quickly summarize the topics that we went through, because it was a lot.
It was.
The first was find ways to move naturally.
Yes. And the next is to know your purpose.
Take it easy and downshift.
Then there's the 80% rule, which is eat until you're satisfied, but not stuffed.
Right. And then always keep a plant slant to your diet. So get in those veggies first.
Right. Exactly. Wine at 5. Sounds like fun, but always with others and socially.
Right. And then belong. So belong to a community with purpose.
Right. And remember to put loved ones first.
And the last, again, is invest in the right tribe.
Right. So it's interesting, most of us have the capacity to make it well into our 90s, largely without chronic disease. And as these communities show us, the average person's life expectancy could increase by 10 to 12 years by adopting some of these blue zone lifestyle habits. But what this means to us as Americans is that we can improve our health right now by adopting some of these lifestyle habits and stay healthier for longer.
Yeah, absolutely. We don't have to live in the blue zones. That's the bottom line. We don't have to move. It's just a matter of making...
Pretty good guess nobody does here.
Make the changes to adapt these concepts into our lives. So as health coaches, we help our clients do this. We help them develop new, healthier lifestyle choices and help them make the behavior changes needed to practice new supportive routines.
Exactly.
So we really want to thank you for joining us this evening.
Yes. And we also wanted to mention that we'll be posting a few questions for all of you to ponder and maybe hopefully comment on in the group on our Facebook page, which would be Which one of the Blue Zones lifestyles would you like to try first? Which one would be the most difficult for you? Which one are you following now? And of course, we encourage any questions you may have. Just ask in the group page and we'll get back to you. So if you're interested in finding out more about improving your health, Mary and Ellen and I both offer complimentary health consultations. So reach out to schedule a follow-up call with either one of us. We'll be posting our websites and emails on this Facebook page following this presentation.
Yeah, great. We're looking forward to seeing what you think about the Blue Zones in the group. So feel free to comment. And remember, our next Take 20 is on September 10th, and it's all about the benefits of eating for the seasons.
And remember, it's not just about adding years to your life.
It's about
adding life to your
years.
Yes, exactly.